everyone, welcome to a brand new edition of the Triple Trio, our last for the Hong Kong racing season. It's breaking my heart, Clint Hutchison and RS Dye. Great to be with you both. Gee, I can't believe we're ending.
Time does fly, but it's been a good season and this will be the last. We'll be back, I suppose, in 4 or 5 months, but let's end the campaign in good style. That's what we need to do.
Well, we've got an unbelievable superstar guest. Zac Purton's going to join us, so we're certainly going to finish in style. And we've got the Golden Boy as well in Raymond Shane Dye. Hey, Golden, what a season we've had. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm starting to come right, mate. It takes me always 3 weeks, maybe 4, when I get a problem with my lungs. So I'm nearly there, so I'll be able to get out again soon.
Oh, good. Hey, everyone, watch out. Whatever you do, stay at home because the Golden One's about to hit the town. Oh, it's good to see that. You can hear the timbre in his
Yeah, no, he's looking
back.
good, Shane. He's back, and he's in good form too. He's been finding plenty of winners.
He certainly has been, and so have you. Let's reflect on some of the highlights, mate.
Yeah, it was, it's been a tough enough week, but there's been a couple of little highlights. Of course, Shane made a good case for Packing Hurricane last week for Cassidy. This horse, I didn't realise he's a half to Prince of Arran as well.
Yeah.
So he's going really well, 3 from 3 now over the 2,000 metres. So it was nice that he managed to win. And Shane, I know you like Splendid Living during the week. We had another leaderish track at the Valley. Zac got to a prominent position and he was just too good.
Yeah, you liked him too. It wasn't hard to find. It was quite good odds. I priced him a lot shorter. There was only 2 horses that could lead in the race, and Zac was never going to take the other horse on. He gave him a perfect ride, and he wasn't hard to find, that horse, Clint.
No.
Yeah. So the big Group 1, of course, we'll reflect on that in a moment. The Champions and Chater Cup with Roman Emperor or Russian Emperor going back-to-back in that race to much surprise to many, but a great win to Huey Bowman. Well, let's talk all things Hong Kong racing. Let's get out of the gate. Well, let's burst out of the gates and we start with the big Group 1 of last weekend on Sunday. Everyone was expecting Romantic Warrior to win, yet Russian Emperor right on the line nailed him. How do you reflect on it?
I thought that, Russian Emperor's great training performance from Douglas White because he'd taken this horse obviously over to Saudi, managed to get a win. He's had a long campaign. So to get the horse keeping his form over that period of time is a real credit to him. We knew that he was proven over the distance. I think what it showed, the way this race was run, that, he's the premier 2,400-metre horse in Hong Kong. With regard to Romantic Warrior, I thought Zac rode him well. Money Catcher applying a bit of pressure from the 800 just was telling late the way that I read the race, and it was a fantastic ride from Hugh. He would have been thankful that Derek Long went and applied some pressure, I suppose, Shane, at that point, and it just probably left Romantic Warrior vulnerable at a key stage if the stamina was going to be a query, which I think it was.
Oh, it definitely was. As I said to you, Richo, last week off air, I wouldn't have backed him at $2, I think I said to you, Richo. Yeah. It was always a query, and I never thought he was a good thing. Russian Empire got a lovely ride. Zac did absolutely nothing wrong. I hear the papers and TV people saying it was a shock he was going to lead. Now, when you lead on a horse like that, he relaxes more. I would have led on him. No risk I would have led on him. The other horse is just a better stayer. At the weights, Straight Aaron on the previous run couldn't beat Russian Empire, and that proved to be correct. He ran very well in the handicap race 2 runs ago, Russian Empire, and he's just a 2,400-metre dead-set stayer. But as for leading on Russian Empire, that never got him beat. It was the fact that he didn't run it right out. The other horse applying a pressure at the 700, when you're going that slow, and Zac's done it before with California Spangle, you're always going to get attacked at the 700 because if you're not, you can't beat the winner. You can't beat him because he's too good a horse and he's getting a soft lead. So you're going to get attacked a long way from home if you're going slow. But he just didn't quite run out the 2,400. We know his pet distance is now 2,000 metres, and that's what he'll be set for.
Yeah, I was interested during the week. I heard James McDonald on various media outlets being interviewed, and the question about Romantic Warrior came up, and he said, don't worry about that 2,400 metres. Back at his pet distance over 2,000, He said he is legitimate world class at that trip.
Yeah.
He said he could win a Cox Plate if he came to Australia over 2,000.
I thought it was really interesting as well with Hugh Bowman's, some of his comments. I heard him on the radio or even the pre-race really stuff. And, you know, the rhetoric Shane around, he said, I've ridden enough horses to know that when you go from 2,000 to 2,400, it's a big step. A lot of them just don't quite get there. And over the course of time, decades and different generations, that's been the case. And it was once again.
Definitely. I feel the same. I've ridden many that run 2,000 but don't 24. And once again, I'll tell you, Richo, you asked me, would you back him at $1.50? And I said, not a hope. I said, I wouldn't back him at $2 because there's a big query over the distance. And as Huey said, he's ridden many horses, so have I, and now Zac's ridden another one.
Hey, quick one, Shane. Do you reckon Winks would have got a mile and a half?
Ooh.
Easy, of course. She ran a mile and a half. She won the Oaks.
Yeah, 2,200 metres. She won the Queensland Oaks and
she ran 2 miles, Winks.
Yeah, rattled down the outside.
Different type of horse to Romantic Warrior.
Yeah.
Romantic Warrior is an on-pace charger who likes to run. Winks got back relaxed, so she would have no worries in the world running 2 miles.
Makes me
Totally
more
different
disappointed
type of
they
horse.
didn't ever went to an arc. Well, that's another story.
No. Can you imagine a wet track? How much she would have loved a wet track in a race like the Arc. RS, the Golden Boy, I tell you what, our man Zac Purton, charging towards his title, 6 wins over the weekend into Wednesday. So he is riding well, there's no doubting that.
Boys, when you boys were a little bit a spectacle whether he'd get it or not, I've never been. He's going to make it. You don't
He'll get
worry
it.
about that. He'll get it with 1 meeting to go, unless, and I keep saying unless he gets suspended. If he gets suspended, he won't be doing it. But if he doesn't, he'll get there with probably a meeting to go, or he'll get there on the last day.
Yeah.
But if I'm a betting man, I would say $1.30 to $1.40 he'll make it.
Yeah.
Well, you are a betting man, and that's one of the many reasons we love you. 144 wins at the moment for Zac, so he needs 171. Keep in mind, this is our last show for the season, but we've still got 13 meetings to go.
We do. The calibre rides he's getting as well. He's on some favourites that are false, but he's getting a lot of good rides. I've noticed that the last few meetings. I mean, don't forget on the weekend, what did he have? 4 winners, and he had 4 seconds. So, he only needs, as Shane has mentioned, a 1 or 2 meetings like that where he can go above or sort of lower that run rate, if you will. But the quality of rides he's getting is going to be hard to keep out.
Can I ask
And the other thing is he's drawing very bad gates, especially at Happy Valley. If you have a look at his rides, they're really good, and you look at the gates, they're terrible. That's going to change. That doesn't keep happening. And when it does, he's going to have a meeting where he rides 5, maybe 6 winners with the rides he's getting when he gets the good gates.
Can I ask a silly question? How many winners in Hong Kong has Matt Chadwick had?
What about a simple question? Simple. He's had 500. 500. And it's great to see. He's done a good job, Matthew, hasn't he? For those who don't know, in a previous episode, one of Matthew's comments to Richo was, that's a simple question. But you've been singing his praises, Shane, and he is riding really well. No doubt about it.
He's riding very, very well, Matthew. He's making the right decisions in the races, and he's just not going out there to ride a race, right? Like before, he'd just go out there and let the race happen. Now he's making decisions, and he's realising that every race is different, and to win races, you've got to do different things. He's riding very, very well, Matthew, and so is Vincent Ho, of course. He's riding very well. He's going good too. So the Chinese boys are going pretty well.
And Karis Teeton had a couple of winners as well. So he's only 4 behind Huey for that 3rd spot on the podium there for the championship. So that 3rd spot is not locked in at the moment for Huey, though Huey's riding really well.
Look, Karis would have been happy to get these home because you say he's riding well. He was having a lean patch.
Yeah, so bouncing back.
He did bounce back well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he was 1 from his previous 50, I think, and was having a fair run of outs. So Karis would have been happy to bounce straight back with a double. You talk about Vincent Ho. If you're talking from a betting point of view, his profit on turnover and he's beating market expectations more than any other rider in Hong Kong at the moment. He's the guy. He's the go-to at the moment. He's riding really well and very profitable if you've been following him. And the other couple that Shane's been plugging as well. I mean, a guy like Luke Ferraris. I was looking at the stats on them. You know, Luke's been winning on a lot of horses between that $8 and $12 mark. And once again, he's beating the market expectation as well. So they're not, for a guy like Luke Ferraris, he's not necessarily getting the best rides, but he's certainly delivering when it counts.
So there's 88 meetings in Hong Kong for the season. We've had 75. Shane, here's the leaderboard from trainers and also for jockeys here. And you'll see Zac sitting there on 144, ahead of Vincent, 78, and Huey. And John Size has a lead of 10 now.
Well, John Size wins and Zac wins. That goes without saying. Both of them are going to win. Luke Ferraris next year is a jockey who could go ahead more. He's gone up 30% when I had a look the other day this year from last year, and he's making decisions in races, but he's getting terrible rides. When he links with a trainer and the trainer sticks with him for a while, he'll go ahead more. The two Chinese boys are riding very well, and of course next season Huey is going to go ahead leaps and bounds.
Yeah. So Luke Ferraris 27 wins for the season. And Shane, explain to us, there'd be some people in Australian audience in particular who have such a high regard for Breton of Dulla, would be there looking, going, gee, it must be so tough for these jockeys to fly in, try to make connections, get good rides. Here's Brenton, a quality Group 1 winning rider, multiple Golden Slipper winner. He hasn't had a win yet in Hong Kong. It's tough.
It is hard for them, but, like I always say, ability shines through, and he's just got to stick it out and believe in himself and turn it round. It's not easy, but if you got that ability and you believe in yourself, you make it in Hong Kong because your class shines through. It might take time, but you'll get there.
6 placings and 10 between 4th and 5th. They're out of his 49 rides.
Yeah, you just need that.
Just need one.
Along, and he's been around the mark. I think he's got 1 or 2 with a decent chance on the weekend.
Okay, let's have a look at who makes the black book. Sweet in defeat.
They're off, and Sugar missed the start by 4 lengths. Then Dublin Star, Sugar fast buck, smart leader. Oversubscribed, lunges at the post, missed. Sugar, that's a sweet win for Alfie Chan.
Let's talk black bookers, and here on the Triple Trio, we do it in the form of the Sid file. Sweet in defeat. Who jumps in?
Towards the end of the season, there's a few that have caught the eye, and we've mentioned the sort of the track patterns of late, but Jeannot Flash just couldn't hold a spot during the week, and I think when Jeannot Flash goes back to Sha Tin, if that is to be the case for John Size, in that grade, he's down in Class 4, he's going to win a race. Smart fighter on debut, covered a bit of ground, nice debut performance from him. He was one horse that we did play on the day and ran a good third. We'll take a look at some vision from Simple Hedge, who at the start, have a look at the head on, bottom right there, jumps out a bit awkwardly, and Hugh Bowman on the outside of Zac there just shifts in when that horse didn't step well, put him out of business. This was our best of the day on the weekend, and he doesn't have a lot of early speed anyway, but gee, it was a good run in defeat. I mean, he was 4 back on the fence. The way the race unfolded, you knew you were in he was basically in an unwinnable position, Simple Hedge, but he needed to jump probably a bit better than hold a spot. I didn't think he'd be back there. I thought he'd be about midfield, and that was the difference in the race. But I thought Simple Hedge is probably a horse, Shane, that is going to win a few races anyway, and definitely had excuses the other day.
Yeah, I was actually alive in the TT come to the last, and it was a big one, and I had a lot of the tickets. I think there was about 1,100, and I had a couple hundred, 200 or 300 of it. And he was my banker, so it was a bit unlucky, but he's going to be better next season. Like a lot of John's horses, after a season, they just improve, and he's a nice horse.
Yeah, he's a beauty. He was unlucky there, so we gave the cat a little workout and fight back. So Smart Fighter goes in, Simple Hedge as well, and a Happy Valley race 4.
Yeah, Jeannot Flash, who will go back to Sha Tin. I think he's better suited there. I don't know. There's a lot of horses that probably drew well or didn't handle that Valley track during the week. I'm not sure if it's a little shifty or a lot of kickback as well, but nonetheless, he'll be one to stick with.
Now, allow me to do this because you don't want to pump up your own tyres, but we've had 19 episodes, Shane, of this season, of which I've been front and centre for basically all of them. 39 entries into the Sweet and Defeat file by you, Hutch Buster. 16 winners. Now, within 3 starts of you whacking them in the file, 16 of them have won at an average of $3.24, 9 of the place. So 25 out of 39 have run top 3 at 64%. We're happy with that.
Well, that's what we want to do in that file, and sometimes everything's still price related, so you want to get the right price on the day, but log into the site there and check out and see if we stick with them. But yeah, we would like to try and find future winners.
Hutchie's Honkers. All right, I'm really looking forward to this. Genius or Slaughter.
They sweep for home now. Beander Cross has come very wide. Beander Cross answering the urgings of Shane Dye. Mannerism coming at him. Mannerism has got it.
Daring tactics by Shane Dye. He's got Octagonal in full flight on the corner. Bold tactics by Shane Dye are going to pay off, and he pinches the Chipping Norton.
This is the moment for the golden boy to shine. He cast his eye over all the rides, and someone who caught his eye and said, that's a genius ride, and one that made him a little red-faced in regards to emoji and said, I want to see that one better. So where do we start, Shane?
Okay, since this is the last meeting, I thought we'd just forget the last 2 weeks in best rides, or last week or 2 meetings, and put up a ride which I think was the best all year. And it's reminiscing, and it's the Derby. This was just such a good ride. He gambled in the race. He went back, and he's a leader. He had the outside gate. If he goes forward, he can't win. But he gets him straight back, but he just relaxes the horse. And if you have a look at him into the back and down the back, it's just so relaxed. And he's a mile of this horse. He's not a 2,000-metre race horse. He can't run 2,000 metres, this horse, even though he won the Derby. But have a look down the back. He did what jockeys don't do. And he gambled, and he'd come out once the horse was relaxed and the pace was off. Here he is back last, and he just come out 3, 4, 5 wide, kept them away from all the other horses. And you watch here how his head is with this horse. His head's down, he's relaxed, and he's just ambling along. So relaxed.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? That vision there. And Shane, why is it so important to be wide? Because he thinks the horse will appreciate it, that?
Because he's away from the other horses, and the horse isn't getting keen. And if you bump another horse on their rump, if that horse had bumped the horse on his rump as he's going past, that'll make your horse pull and go forward and over race. And he kept them away probably because of that. That's what I would have done. But he went forward at the right time when the pace was so slack. Now, being wide is irrelevant round the bend because they're gone slow and he's wasted no energy. And he's got here in a perfect run from last. And it's Clint, I love this ride. Yeah. It's something that I would have done outside the box, and he's done it. And all credit to him.
Yeah, Alexi Bedell. I think you've really put up a suitable or worthwhile ride of the season.
Yep.
He followed this up though, Alexi Bedell, with an ordinary one against Golden 60. So I'm not going to make it all
roses.
Roses for Alexi. And I'll tell you what, the way that Voyage Bubble, 2 things. The way that Voyage Bubble competed against Golden 60 and the Spangle, etc., that was a huge run, facing the breeze in that race when he competed not long after that. And on that note as well, Shane, it's a good year for the Derby. While they crawled in the Derby there, the overall race didn't, go anything special. Gee, we've seen some winners come out of it, and I think we'll continue to. It's proven a very good year.
It's a very good year. You go back to horses, 5th, 6th, Straight Aaron. He ran well on the weekend. He's not there yet, that horse. Next year in the 2024, he's going to measure up. You got all those horses there. Beauty Eternal, he's a Group 1 horse for sure. Voyage Bubble, you got 5 or 6 in the Derby. And going into the Derby, we didn't know if it was that strong, but it's a very, very strong Derby, that, Clint.
Okay, well, you've got off your deathbed. You're feeling a little better. He's got rid of the flu. So is there a slaughter? Is there one ride or 2 rides that caught your eye?
There are a couple that caught my eye without doing replays. One was Zac on Supreme Lucky. I know he'll want this ride again. He draws out there. Now, if you watch Poon on this horse, he always digs him like anything and gets him up there wide. But this was a 2-horse race, and Dancing Code, even though he didn't win. And Zac, if he pushed on, could have got just behind him, probably 3 deep. Now, why it was because it's the A track. And on the A track, you can sit 3 wide. And the other thing this day, it was an on-pace track. I know a couple come from last, but this was an on-pace track. I can understand why Zac went back from the wide gate, but he's on a horse who can be bustled, as Matthew did, and he sticks on. And it was the wrong thing to do. And I'm sure if Zac had this ride again, he would have pushed forward and the horse would have won. He's run enormous, this horse, Clint. He's a nice horse. He's going higher.
I'm finding the humour in this, Shane, because you've been so kind to all these jockeys in recent weeks. and we've got Zac on the show today, and you decided to launch at Zac as the slaughter.
Mate, you know I tell it from my heart and how it is. And I love Zac, and he's a great jockey. He's done what I couldn't do. He's done what everyone, but he would want that ride over again. Trust me on that.
Yeah, no, that's one thing about the Golden Boy. We know that he fear or favour. He just tells it exactly how it is. And I believe Karis Teaton might have got this one wrong.
Well, he didn't show initiative out of the gate. You know, you draw out there. I'm watching this and I'm saying, just push on. You know, he may not have won if he had led on him because they might have gone too fast. But coming out of there and sitting on him 3-4 wide, and these horses behind him get up inside of him, he was too slow to get across him behind. He should have pushed forward and attacked the winner. What's it called, Clint?
Meaningful Star.
Meaningful Star. Meaningful Star would have pressed on and probably led, and Nimble Nimbus would have taken a sit. But he elected to try and get in, and he wasn't going to get in, and his race is over now, 3 deep with 132 pounds. He's not going to win on that track on Wednesday night. It was time, everything. It was just, he had no hope. And he's run enormous, this horse, at the back's time. But I'm not saying this horse would have won if he had led on him, but he should have been aggressive out of the gates and said, right, I'm taking the bull by the horns. Instead, he was hoping he was going to get in. And when you're on the C track or the C+3, they race a lot tighter, and it's not as far to the first bend, and it's always very, very hard to get in on the C+3. So I thought, watching the race, he just should have showed a little bit more aggressive out of the gates. But I'm not saying if he had led on that horse, it would have won. He may not have.
Well, I think he would have been pretty hard to beat, Shane. It was, like you said, it was an enormous run. But I've got to say, the poor old Sword Point, I had him down when Hugh rode him in the Derby as not getting the ideal run. He's been a bit of a hard luck story this year, poor old Sword Point.
He's had a few seconds. He had a good run in the 2,400 metre race when he ran second 2 starts ago. He had every chance that day. Straight Aaron was a bit too good, but he's a nice horse and he'll come back. It's another one from the Derby who's racing very, very well, who next season's going to win races. But then again, they're all going to be racing each other next year, so they all can't keep winning, Clint.
Yep.
Always an absolute feature of our show is Genius or Slaughter, and our man, the Golden Boy, is back by having a couple in the crosshairs that he just gives a little drive-by to. Beautifully played. Let's change pace and get the inside running with Nicole Purton. And Golden 60 is such a superstar. We catch up with his groom, who puts the polish on him.
There are still plenty of chapters to be written in the Golden 60 story. Right now, though, the Hong Kong champion is the world's leading stake-earning thoroughbred who has won 25 races, including 9 Group 1s, for his owner Stanley Chan and his trainer Francis Loy.
Golden 60 letting down. He's just hands and heels at the moment, Ho, on Golden 60 as he goes after Shining Ace. But Golden 60 got a decent engine, this fellow. It's just been hands and heels all the way. And Golden 60 very comfortable. Been impressive here on debut now.
This morning with Vincent Ho, I'm going to introduce you to Golden 60's mafoo, Gilbert Lau. So Vincent, today we're here at home with Golden 60. He looks pretty happy in there. Tell me, how important is the team behind Golden 60?
Of course, Gilbert is one of the guy. You know, he look after him every day. Throughout his almost his whole life, except the baby when he was overseas. And of course, the riding guy, Alex Yu. He know him inside out probably more than me.
Well, it's definitely a team effort. Gilbert, how long have you been working with horses?
I work in Hong Kong Jockey Club 16 years about.
And did you work with any other Group 1 horses before you met Mr. Golden 60?
Oh, I think I'm lucky. Before, my first Group 1 is Happy Zero, and the next one is Designs on Room.
It's Designs on Rome, and Able Friend fighting it out. Designs on Rome with his head in front. He's edging away, and Designs on Rome wins the Derby by a length.
Next horse you're working with? I want to know about it.
I'm lucky. Maybe my whole life lucky give Golden 60. maybe I can miss another one.
When did you realise that Golden 60 was special?
Every time he wins, he not very, very hard. You see him, you can. Other horse, he can, after the races, give a deep breathing, but I never see him on this.
So as he won more races, did you start to treat him a little bit differently, probably giving him a little bit more attention?
Normal horses do all the normal things, but after winning the Derby, we know he is really, really special. So give him a very, very details to take care of him. Yeah.
Gilbert, what's been your favourite win of Golden 60?
Favorite, I think the Classic Cup. 4 years old, the Classic Cup. You know, everybody know he got a high temperature before the races. Within 2 weeks, we decided maybe scratch. But I told my boss, just give him a week to look what changed about him.
What a battle! Golden 60 goes to the top now. 10 starts, 9 wins. He's a cracker. Golden 60 takes the Classic Cup.
In Hong Kong, the Jockey Club allocate Group 1 prize money to stable staff. Has Golden 60 changed your life in any way?
Many my friends, my family got very proud of me. Yeah. Because I can do it, this very famous horse. So my friends, my family proud of me. Yeah.
At Sha Tin, do you have a lucky spot that you might stand to watch Golden 60 race?
Winning post behind the fence, just everybody just watching the big screen. So maybe that's my lucky place.
And do you cheer, get excited when he's winning, or are you a little bit more reserved?
If the race is exciting, we will shout in and give him a big shout. I think, yeah, come on, Golden 60.
Do you find watching the race that it takes a lot out of you? Do you feel quite stressed or anxious or excited? What emotions do you feel?
Now for him, not the stretch, just enjoy every moment. Because an old man, 7-year-old, yeah, so just enjoy every moment, every process we can do for him. So enjoy his life.
It's the 2 great horses of Hong Kong, but it's Golden 60, the greatest of Hong Kong. He beat Romantic Warrior ahead. Golden 60's taken over now. He's a length in front of California Spangle and Romantic Warrior, and Hong Kong's horse of a generation wins the race of the decade.
Well, Gilbert Lau is certainly a personality and very passionate about his association with Golden 60 and Vincent Ho as well. So Nicole's done a great job for us. We love having her part of our team.
We do. She's done a fantastic job throughout the season, puts in a lot of work too. And some of those interviews, I couldn't get them. Tony Cruz is harder to talk to than, you know.
She just walks down. They go, yes, Nicole.
Harder to get hold of, I mean.
Yeah.
But no, fantastic job, Nicole. And we look forward to her bringing us plenty next season.
Okay, let's talk all things world racing, global racing. Well, for global racing, Shane, we'll start with you because Damien Lane is a gun jockey. He's won his 6th Northern Hemisphere Group 1, 5 of them in Japan, but he's won the big one. This is huge to win a Japanese derby.
Oh, definitely. He's just suited for not Hong Kong racing, for Japanese racing. He's done so well over there, and he keeps going back. He keeps winning big races. It's a lot different riding in Japan to Hong Kong. It's a lot easier riding in Japan.
And you make that easier because there's always such genuine tempo on in the race? Is that what you're leading towards?
I think that's part of it.
Because they do have a lot of good speed, don't they?
Yeah, they do have a lot of good speed.
They ride a lot looser, Richo. It's easier. They don't ride as tight and the pace is on.
Yeah.
And you really can't go in or out in the straight. You've got to keep your course. So runs always open up there. It's a lot easier riding in Japan than Hong Kong. But he's done magnificent over there. and he'll keep going back and he'll be a success there. I'm surprised he hasn't linked up there for a year yet. I suppose he's got to learn Japanese to get there and sit tests like Joe had to, and Joe didn't pass the test. So once that happens, I'd say he would be moving to Japan for sure.
Yeah, well, there's two components to it. I mean, he's recently married to Bonnie, so whether or not they want to live in Japan. But then there's the written and also the oral component. At the moment, he's in such high demand to come over for 3 or 4 months. So at the moment, he's got the best of both worlds. As long as he can keep doing that,
I mean, his record, he's breaking, with all the top riders go there, and he's formulating the best record of any of them. Incredible. So, and the comment that I really like from Damien Lane, and I've heard it from Tom Marquand of late as well, is, if you're not out there to basically be the best, you shouldn't be riding. And they both have that mindset in terms of wanting to be one of the best in the world. And, they're both the riders probably to similar age in their careers. And, it bodes well. Actually,
it helps for the stable he's riding with too, Clint.
Yeah.
He's riding for the stable.
Oh,
they just have 3, 4 in every race, So that helps. So he's getting the good rides from a good stable who love him, and he's performing very, very well. So he's going to keep riding those big race winners if he's on those horses.
He is living the dream. He'll be making his way over to the UK. He rides at the Royal Meeting at Ascot as well. So an Aussie horse in the Astrologist plus other rides, no doubt. I'm sure he'll be very popular there, and that's, of course, one of our Whirlpool meetings.
As is, of course, the Derby, which is this weekend at Epsom, and these are the races that will be part of the Whirlpool. So it looks a brilliant meeting once again, and can't wait for the feature itself, of course. And I did catch up with Tom Marquand online, and I spoke to him about him because he's riding a horse with a Hong Kong connection in Waipiro, and I asked him how much he was looking forward to the Derby.
It's obviously one of the biggest weekends of the year as a flat jockey in the UK, and you go in basically trying to find the best ride that you can, and I'm hoping that Waipiro comes in with a good resume and his form lines up with a lot of the other runners. So look, fingers crossed all can go well.
Is that the one race you want to win most in global racing?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think. For any British or probably even European-based jockeys, it's one of the races, and you grow up watching Derby winners, so it's one of the first races that comes to mind when you think of the ones that you want to get in the bag.
Furthermore to that Hong Kong connection with Waipiro, of course, he's a half brother to Waikuku, who raced with a lot of success in Hong Kong. Just talking about his form, though, leading, and the Lingfield Derby run was runner-up to one of the leading chances, of course, in that event, Military Order. What did you make of that run?
Yeah, look, to be honest, I was really impressed with that. I mean, I thought Military Order probably had the kind of run around. If anything, he got that slip through on the rail, and our lad, he had to go around them. Obviously, I wasn't aboard that day, but he had to go around the leader, and that sort of half a length, 3/4 of a length deficit at the line, you could probably put some of it at least down to that from turning in. So look, he's a horse that no doubt still learning on the job a little bit, and you could see that at Lingfield. He just took a little while to change leads and things like that. So look, all the signs are there for him to have taken a good step forward. And look, if you think you're beating half the length with a sort of legitimate excuse of where that half length came from by what's now a joint favourite for the Derby, I think it puts us in a really good spot.
Yeah, and that we're really happy with how he's come out of that race and leading into the main event this weekend.
Yeah, he looks fantastic. I saw him last week when I went into Ed's to jump on a couple of others, and as I say, he looks great. And thankfully, touch wood, until now, he's had an uninterrupted prep from that Lingfield run into the big day on Saturday. And look, you need a lot of things to get your way. It's a tough race and a tough day for them.
What do you think the main ones to beat in the Derby are, Tom? It's always a very competitive race.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously he has to turn the form around with Military Order, but that's pretty evident. I think a lot of people will be guilty of forgetting the Aidan O'Brien horse, Augusta Rodan. He would be my biggest worry, just because Aidan O'Brien, I mean, I think he won the Derby 12. I think it's 12 times now, and they don't sort of shout about horses being good for no reason. So I'd say he's probably the main one.
On just your rides on the day, now you've pretty much got a full book, a lot of rides there. Was there anything that stood out on the day?
I think being the race and the day that it is, I'm hoping Mountain Pete might bounce back from his effort in the dash last year. He finished second, beaten half length. Oh, but might have even been a neck actually. He's been a bit below form lately, but things haven't quite gone his way. But I'm hoping fast ground, back on that nice quick 5, could potentially do the trick, all being well.
He's a fantastic young jockey and also even a better human being. So he's got a big chance in the Derby. Really interesting. I think San Antonio can run well. There's a roughie at about 50-1, the second stringer of Aidan O'Brien. Just like the way that he just kept finding last start at Chester.
They have won it with a few second and third stringers.
Correct.
On occasion.
Serpentine. I was lucky enough to but he throw a dart at and get 1 year. What does G1 Goldmine tell us about the favourite from the pedigree?
This is a perfect, one of the many angles you can use Grit 1 Goldmine for. And obviously with the Derby, we're talking about stamina. What we've found from Group 1 Goldmine has been quite amazing, actually, in terms of the pedigree of the lineup of this field. Just quickly, 30% of the field are actually a perfect match according to their algorithms, which is amazing. I mean, the normal race, just to put it in perspective, 1.5%. So these are some of the best bred horses going around in terms of really good matches. And here's Auguste Rodin, who's obviously got that brilliant cross with Galileo and Deep Impact, and obviously he's got the Rodin in his name with reference to that Japanese side of things. But yeah, he's obviously in the game. What's interesting from a more of a rating point of view for me is that he's coming off that wet track win as a 2-year-old last year. Will that stack up well here? So I think Military Order is why I'd definitely be leaning more. He's a 2020 match on Group 1 Goldmine according to them algorithms. Love that Lingfield Derby trial. And he's got the cross with Frankel, of course, and Debawe. Another, just a dream matchup between those two sides. So we're actually going to put something on our website, a little file where you can look at it. We go through every run in terms of their pedigree. Otherwise, go to Group 1 Goldmine itself and check it out, because it is definitely well worth looking at in terms of horses that are suited to their pedigrees. And for mine, I think the horse Waipere is not out of it. Very interesting runner. So make sure you do that.
And from a world pool point of view, there's always so many different ways you can bet, and so many different bet types through the tab if you're betting in Australia. Just brilliant stuff, the world pool, and this is the start. We've already started to hear different jurisdictions saying, how do we get part of the world pool? That will happen. Make sure you, of course, imagine what you could be buying instead, free and confidential support, or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. We've got a very special guest. It's time for us to get our shirts ready, jackets on, RS Dye's ready. Zac Purton joins us. Always an absolute pleasure to have the superstar of Hong Kong racing on our program. His name is Zac Purton. Zac, as always, mate, we know you're extremely busy. Thanks so much for your time. How do you reflect on last Sunday with Romantic Warrior, mate? I thought you gave him a peach. There's been a bit of discussion. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, I think he showed that, he's not a 2,400 metre horse. From when I went back through his videos, apart from the Derby, when he got past California Spangle is not a 2,000 metre horse. Every other time, he's been very soft late in his races, and a couple of times he's looked like he's been under pressure. And, my job was to try and get him to relax. And one thing I didn't expect was Money Catcher to give the lead up. I didn't see that coming, but I think it actually, to a certain degree, helped me, because what it did was allowed my horse to canter along in front with his ears pricked and not over race. There was only one stage just coming past the winning post the first time when he heard the crowd that he got on a little bit. But after that, and I was very mindful not to go too slow, because I didn't want to invite any horse to take off. I thought, Alexa Bedell recently on 5G patches made some early moves. Natural Storm might want to make a move. Huey might want to make a move on Russian Emperor, and it would invite Money Catcher to put the pressure on me. So I thought the sectionals were being run to suit my horse, and then obviously Derek Long just put the acid to me 900 metres from home, and I was dead at the 600. Moneycatcher did head me, and I thought I was gone at the top of the straight, but to the horse's credit, and I think he showed the class that he's got. He picked himself up off the canvas and had another crack. But I think what it does is it gives me an opportunity to further talk about Shane Dye's comments recently, where he believes jockeys should be going out there to specifically beat other runners in a race, and that's exactly what Derek Long did. He went out there just to try and beat me, and what he did was he set the race up for every other runner. If he had waited and just ridden a normal race, and his horse is suspect at 2,000 metres anyway, and ridden a normal race, there's every chance he and I fight the race out instead of him dropping out like he did, and all it did was set it up for the genuine stayer in the race. Now, I just don't subscribe to the theory that you go out there to beat one horse in the race. I go out there to ride my horse the best I can ride it, to give it the best chance to win the race. And there's been a few examples recently. Michael D on Wednesday night at Happy Valley, he's on a horse, top tee, struggles to get past 1,400 metres. I was on the leader running along inside standard, and he pulls out at the 700 metre mark and makes an early move when he's on the back of a last start winner. And his horse got to the top of the straight, and it knew it couldn't run the distance. It pulled itself up and ran last. And then in the steward's report, he says he wanted to make sure I didn't get too far in front of him. So he's out there trying to ride his horse to beat my horse, and he's ended up running last in the race, and this happens quite often. We had Chadwick in the first race at Happy Valley on Wednesday night. Once again, we're going along inside standard, and he pulls out at the 1,000 and starts making an early move. It flushed me out. All it did was it killed my chances. I don't specifically think he was riding against me in that race. I just think what I did was what I believe he just made a dumb error. There's no need to be taking off when the races have been running at those speeds, and it's detrimental to their own horses' chances. But Chadwick's a great example last season when I was on Beauty Eternal, and he was on, I forget now, but his whole focus in that race was to keep me in a pocket. And he went from being behind the winner and the second favourite in the race, Science Patch, to giving it 4 lengths start at the 400 metre mark because he was dragging his horse back to keep me in a pocket. Now, he cost himself the race. Cost me the race, but cost himself the race as well. So I think these jockeys, Shane, they're not of your calibre. They're not as good as you are. They're not able to do what you do. So suggesting to them that they should be going out there to specifically beat the favourite every time and that's how they're going to win a race, I think is wrong. And I don't, like I said, I don't subscribe to it. My whole train of thought is working out what the best asset my horse has, working out how I believe the race is going to be run, having a look at where the rail position is, the track bias, and to riding my horse accordingly to give it the best chance to win the race. I don't go out there trying to beat any one horse, and you can't do that in Hong Kong because the handicapping system's so tight. You may have been able to do it in Australia in Group 1 weight for age races, but it's a different beast here. And Derek Long there on the weekend is a good example of that. He went out there to beat me. He's ended up running 5th or 6th when he could have run 2nd or 3rd. And it's counterproductive to what they're doing. So, Moreira used to do it at the end of every season when we were fighting for the championship. And I knew when it got head-to-head, I would always beat him because he spent all season riding at 25%. And then all of a sudden he's going out there and he's trying to win 6 out of the 10 races on the card. And the other 4 races, he's trying to make sure I get beat. So his winning percentage would drop down to about 20, and I would just go out there every race, continue to try and win every race. And, yeah, he'd beat me every now and then, or he'd bring me undone every now and then, but my percentages still stayed high, and then I would get on top of him. So I just think you're trying to ask jockeys to do something that they're not capable of doing.
Shane, what do you think?
Zac, I understand what you're saying, but you've missed the point with me all along. It's when it's a 2-horse race, right? And I've always said that. When it's a 2-horse race, you go out there to beat the other one. I'm not talking about the whole race. Now, a classic example, and it's up for a slaughter this week, is Supreme Lucky. As far as I'm concerned, that was a 2-horse race, and you went back on him, and I understand why, but you gave your advantage away with dashing, dancing code, even though he got beat. if you had attacked him more early, I know you would have been wide, but it is the A track, I would have looked at that race as a 2-horse race. So I understand what you're saying, and I'm actually not disagreeing, because Michael D's ride on Top T, whatever it was called, you're correct, was a shocker, right? And I don't know why he took off down the back when they were going along at a nice pace. And you're correct, he's a 1,400-metre race. And me watching that when he's in the perfect position is wrong. So I'm agreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing. But when you've got Golden 60 against the Romantic Warrior in a race, you're going out there to beat one horse, or California Spangle and Golden 60. So it's different to what I'm actually saying, Zach. It's a match race when it's 2 horses. You don't go out there to worry about the other 10 horses in the race. You worry about one horse. And that's why I rode so many Group 1 winners all my life, because I knew the horse to beat in the race, and I could work out how to get it beat in a race and for my horse to win the race. But I'm not disagreeing with you in some of the stuff you said, because I agree with what Michael D did was wrong. As for them attacking at Happy Valley, they do it too much down the back, especially when the pace is too fast. They've got to do it. See, Luke Ferraris did it perfectly about 3 weeks ago on hour 1. They backed the pace off, and when he went, and he kept going. But you see when they're doing it now, because what I always say, Casper had a horse one day, and it was back last, and it took off and it won. And he said to me the next meeting, I'm going to tell him to take off again down when he gets into the back. And I said, Cass, how do you know how fast the pace is? You can't do that. You know, it depends how fast the pace is. But sometimes they get it in their minds at Happy Valley, Zach, and you know this, that as soon as they get into the back, they're going to go, which is wrong, because it's all about pace.
We also need a little bit of balance as well. I mean, the other thing, Zach, Derek knows that you're the main chance. So he's in a good position to, you know, he might have felt he'd also had a good run to a point. Now, I know he's probably gone a little bit soon, but he might have thought that, you know, he's had a good run and you're the one to beat. So if you're suspect over the trip and you're saying he's not a confirmed 2,400-metre horse, well, I don't know, but he's going to find out if you are. So I think you got to, you know, he's also giving himself.
I get what you're saying, Clint, and I do agree with what Shane's saying as well, but as well about the match horse races. And that's a good point. When it is a match race, you've got to have a horse of the same quality to be able to fight fire with fire. Derek's horse isn't of the same quality as my horse. He's trying to fight with a Group 3 horse with a Group 1 horse, and you're going to come off second best every time doing that. It's just the wrong tactic to employ.
Hey, Zach, do I know? Do you feel like you're getting targeted by the other jocks? Isn't it giving you the irrits a bit?
Oh, listen, I've been in this position for a number of seasons now. This is nothing new. I always ride with the target on my back. And what Shane is saying about Happy Valley is correct. These jockeys go out there with the idea that they're going to take off no matter what, and they forget about the sectionals of the race. But the great thing about Hong Kong is the stewards here do allow us to show initiative and to do things differently, unlike in Australia, where the racing is quite stale and boring because every jockey is expected to ride to the speed map. And when they're not in the exact position that they're in, the stewards call them in immediately and say, well, why weren't you here? They don't let jockeys take off early. They don't let them do anything outside the box. So it becomes very, very predictable. Whereas here in Hong Kong, we do have some flexibility, and I do enjoy that. And I love competitive racing. I want it to be competitive. But what I don't want to see is what I call brain-dead rides. And I've seen a fair few of them recently.
Rich, I've got to agree with Zac on that. Australia's lost it with speed maps. I remember when I'd come back here from Hong Kong one day, I led on a horse, and it was always going to lead in my books. It went from 1,200 to a mile, but Ray Murray had me back in the field. He had me in there for 4 races. He got the owner, he got the trainer, and he was trying to charge me for leading on it. I said, you're bloody kidding. But on our speed map, you're there. I said, who cares what the speed map is, right? And I'm there till after last, and I want to catch a plane in Hong Kong. I'm saying to myself, what the hell am I doing here, coming back here to ride horses for? It's a waste of time. They don't get it. And I've got to agree with that, Zac, 100%. In Australia, it's about a speed map, and you've got to be there, which is just a load of rubbish. And it's not in Hong Kong. They're very open to you riding horses differently, which is the way it should be. Speed map at the end of the day is just an opinion, so therefore you're entitled to a different opinion, and you led when you weren't, according to the other opinion, meant to be. Hey, let's move on from that. Zac, can you break this record that we're all talking about? You need
You've got 13 meetings to go. You need to touch over 2 per meeting. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's difficult. Obviously, I'm not feeling well this week. I got the flu. I've been struggling all week, so I'm not feeling great. I'm not up and about, but it's a grind, especially this time of year. And as we've seen, a lot of factors go into it. We had the dirt meeting recently. We've had a lot of rain. So we had the 2 wet tracks at Sha-Tin, and then the last 3 Happy Valley meetings. If you weren't in the first 3 or 4 runners, you couldn't win. So the track bias there has basically taken a lot of horses out of play. And as the further we get towards the end of this season, the horses get tired and the form becomes a bit more unpredictable. So, it becomes harder and harder. And I did think I was going to get a bit more support from a couple of trainers that haven't. I thought Francis Lloyd would give me a little bit more support, but once Pierre left there and Vincent Sipp went in as his assistant trainer, he's good mates with Vincent Ho, so he's got Vincent back in there. Pierre started well, and then he's been a little bit flat, so I haven't got the amount of winners out of his stable I thought I would get. Danny Shum suspended me at the start of the season. I've been his number 1 rider for about 14 seasons, and he decided to put me on the bench for a bit, but he's come running back now. He's begging me to ride his horses, but it's too late for me. Cost me about 20 winners, so it's made it a bit hard for me. It's put me in a position that I didn't expect to be in. But I've got the opportunity to do it, and only I can do it. I'm out there working hard. I've been battling injury all season, which hasn't been easy either. Continually going to physio. I haven't been able to train as hard or as much as I'd like to train. So my fitness, I feel, hasn't quite been where I want it to be. But if I look back on the season, it's been a great season so far. I just hope that I can finish it in the fashion that I'd like to finish it in.
Yep, you're riding as well as ever, Zac, no doubt about that. Just quickly, you mentioned Happy Valley. Last 3 weeks, there has been a notable bias. What do you put that down to? It seems like we had that dirt meeting. We've gone back to the city track. Why is it being so leaderish lately?
We've had a lot of rain, just weeks and weeks and weeks of rain, and with that, we've had a lot of cloud cover. I think for the last month, we only had 2 or 3 days where the sun actually come out. So the grass, for me, isn't able to grow because 1, it's waterlogged, and 2, it's not getting any sun. So it's become very thin. And as you know, when the grass becomes thin and the track doesn't have that resistance to it, it's easier for the horses to run through it, and it becomes very leaderish. And for me, that's why it's been playing like it has. I might be wrong. That's the way I viewed it.
Hey, Zac, I think you need to look out, mate, because there's a young jockey emerging through the ranks who's got this unique style that I think that might end up taking over your mantle. I don't know if you'd like to give us a critique on this riding style of a young man by the name of Cash Purton. Check him out.
He was brave. He didn't realise he nearly ran into the gutter then. He would have gone arse over. But no, he's enjoying being able to come to the races again now. He loves it and he's right into it. He actually makes Mum sit up on a Wednesday night and write down how I've gone and put the sheet of paper in his bed so he can wake up in the morning and read the results. So he's getting a little bit too involved. I've got to try and get him out of here as quick as I can.
Oh, that's a classic.
Does he go to Bees River and ride?
I took them out him and Roxy out to Lowell yesterday, and to be fair, Roxy's lovely on a horse. She's got a good seat and so confident. Like I don't think she realises, the horse can tip her off at any time. She's got too much confidence. But Cash, he's terrified of horses, so I doubt he's going to make it as a jockey.
He hasn't got your heart.
He only gets on because he sees me riding them, but he hasn't got. I can just see how timid he is around him, which is a good thing.
Mate, I know you push for time and you've got a jockeys meeting, so we'll push quickly. There's a couple of races we'd love to get your opinion of. Race number 3 on Sunday with Beauty Eternal here. So this small field, Huey's on Beauty Joy, you're on Beauty Eternal. What do you make of this? Yeah,
I think my horse has a good chance in this race. I think the mile really suits him. He just got there 2 starts back over 1400 and he was only doing his best work late. And then last start in this race here on the wet track, I got myself into an awkward spot mid-race and I was getting sort of shuffled and dragged out of it a little bit. He wasn't handling the ground around the corner. But once he got into the straight on the better ground, he finished it off quite strongly, as we could see. And a mile's going to be even more comfortable for him. So I think he's well weighted. it looks like it's a suitable race for him.
It looks like, Zac, the horse that you had a bit of an association with at the end of last year, Beauty Joy, might be your main danger as well, who's given that. And he seems to strike a bit of form late in the year. I mean, one of his best runs probably in the last 12 months was, I think, to about this time of year where he let down really well for you.
Yeah, that was that race where he wouldn't get going early, would he? He was, I think, 5 lengths behind the second last horse and run home in some phenomenal section. I think he ran home in 44 or 45 seconds or something his last half mile. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, he does come good at the end of the season. But as you know, carrying top weight in these Group 3 races is a really tough task.
Well,
and that's what he's faced with.
And on that note, you've got Lucky Swayness. A little surprised to see him in this race, to be honest, Zac, but you know, he's giving a lot of weight away to other horses. Just put my market up here of the race. I mean, I've got him marked short. I've got him marked around $1.70 chance. I think the public will probably back him even shorter because they just love the horse and he's got that fantastic run style. It's an interesting setup, this race. I mean, you've got a horse like Victor the Winner, which you know, probably jump and lead from gate one, and it probably sets up nicely for you, but it's the weight. You're giving a lot of weight away to other horses here, Zac.
Yeah, well, the handicap will tell you that he probably should be getting beat in this race. You know, Courier Wonder was really good last start. Sight Success meets him better. He's going to get a good run. Victor the Winner is obviously the one. He's had a freshen up between runs. He's drawn barrier 1 if he jumps well and controls the race. And Karis Teaton is very good on these types of horses. He's got lovely hands. He lets them get into the right rhythm. He's got good balance on them. And this horse, with no weight on his back, from barrier 1 leading, he's run good time previously. He's going to be very hard to catch, I think.
Shane, what do you think? 9 kilos. Can Lucky Swayness give 9 kilos to Victor the Winner?
You know, I'm Lucky Swayness's biggest supporter in Hong Kong, and I've wrapped him from day one, and he's going to keep winning, but I think he's a risk. He can win, but he's a risk here tomorrow. Definite risk at the weights.
Particularly with Victor the Winner, who seemed to trial nicely there. What do you make of Cordyceps 6 as well, Zac's changed stable, gone over to Francis Lloyd. Francis done a great job again this season, and it's an interesting pickup for him.
Yeah, he has. And the horse, to me, in the barrier trials the other day, looked, you know, he looked like a different horse. He seemed to carry himself a bit better. And I don't know if Francis has done anything differently with him or if he's just had that time between runs. But he did look like he was striding out quite well to me.
You got 10 rides. Let's have a look at all 10 of your rides for those that are following along at home. Who jumps off the page? I'm hoping you say race 9, horse 4, because Hutch has given us a bit of a push for Hoss in race 9. Who else jumps off the page for you?
Let me have a look. You know, Happy Days a chance, Mega Bonus chance, Beauty Eternal's a chance, Baby Crystal runs into Pierre's horse, which has been trialling well, but he's a chance. Lady Choice is a chance. Helios Express might want a little bit further. Lucky Swayness, we know him. Majestic Star's not out of it. Hoss is interesting coming back to Sha Tin, seizing the moment, one on a wet track. So, you know, they're all chances. I'm just going to try and work out how I'm going to try and win on them.
Shane?
Zac, did you like Ladies' Choice's trial the other day? I thought it trialled well.
Yeah, he trialled very well. And I rode him in the gallop since, and he galloped well. So, you know, Michael Chang, he's another one. He needs, I think, 3 more winners to escape getting a strike. And this will be his last strike. If he doesn't get 3 more winners between now and the end of the season in races in Class 4 and above, he loses his licence. So he's going to be doing everything he can to try and get that horse to win a race.
Well, even though it's called Lady Choice, it's a male, it's a gelding. I think it's its chance to win.
It's a lady syndicate, that's why they call it that.
Yeah. Very good.
Hey, Zac, mate, we know you push for time. Thanks so much for taking our call. And this is our last show for the season. Thanks for lending your beautiful wife to be part of it as well. The triple trio became the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, no, she's really enjoyed it. It stopped a few late nights, actually, because she's got to get home early to prepare to she's put a lot of time and effort into it and has really enjoyed it. So it's given her something to do that she enjoys, and she it's great that she's involved. So it's good she's a part of your family.
And Zac,
I was just wondering, you know how you said Happy Valley, it's the leader's track because of the rain and everything, and it can't grow the grass. Do you think that's the trouble with Richo? He's been out in the rain too much.
Well, I know if I was racing him down the main street there in Melbourne, I wouldn't be able to keep up.
Hey, and Zac, hey, don't forget, the glass is half full. We're all shouting you home down here. Stay positive.
No, I will. But, I'm probably not going to watch the Genius or Slaughter segment this week. Shane's going to throw darts at me, but rightly so.
Mate, I love you, but you've got to get one, and you're going to get one because it was a shock. And you would have hopped off that horse and said, oh, my God, why did I go back there? But, mate, we've all been there. I've been there.
You know what happened? He didn't begin that well. And Huey was inside me, and I thought Huey would hold a bit more of a spot, so I'd come back and get on his back. And Huey just kept dragging back and back and back, and then it dragged me back and back and back. And anyway, that's what happened. If I had that time again, I'd definitely be more positive for sure.
You're going to do it. Just stay out of trouble. Don't get suspended, and you'll get there with one meeting to go. So good luck, and I hope you break it because your stake money, you broke the stake money this year. I think you're up to, I looked the other day, 48 million or 47 million Aussie, which is just unbelievable. Congratulations, another great season, and come back and do it better next year.
Thank you. We won't be telling Nicole about the prize money, though, because she'll want to go shopping again.
Oh, don't worry. I hassle her on the show about it.
Very good. Thanks, guys.
Good on you, buddy. Yeah, the one and only Zac Purton. What a beauty and forthright as always. Let's find some other races to bet into after the great insight we've got from a couple of races from Zac Purton. Let's make our way to race number 9 here, Hutch, and it's over 1,400 metres. Zac rides Hoss. Huey is on Wings of War. Vincent Ho on Midori Beauty.
Yeah, well, Wings of War finished second to Hoss the last time they met at Happy Valley, and there's a little weight swing there. I think it's a few kilos. And they're both leading chances in this race. We've got some horses coming off wet track form like California Voce, of course, Big Red, Roman Turbo. This is a race with California Voce. He comes out wide on the course. I like the run, and I thought he had a bit of a chance this day from Noble Win. He's the widest of all. He was unlucky prior to this behind Rev Parisian. It was a slowly run race. He's drawn gate 2 for Mick D. He's going to settle a lot closer, and I think over 1,400 metres, he's right in the game. But this is the horse I think you've got to beat in Hoss. Shane, I think 1,400 for this gallop will be even better suited. We heard from Zac saying that he's now got to go to Shartin and do it. If anything, I think it'll be better suited.
Yeah, 1,400 is going to suit him. There's one horse there that's got a very good chance. The 6, Chu Chow Spirit. He's not the worst. He was a little bit disappointing last start. He ran 3rd. He's had a nice trial since then, and he's had 2 months off. All of his 3 runs have been good. I put his last disappointing run down when he ran 3rd, that he might have been ridden a bit close because his 2 previous runs he got back and ran on. So from gate 6, he might be midfield. He's got a very good chance, but Hoss will start favourite from probably him.
So do you think it was that with Chu Chow Spirit, Shane? Because for the neutral, and I'm even disappointed, or the layman sort of, when you watch that race, he's looked to have every chance, and he sort of loomed up off a reasonably steady tempo. And I thought he started odds on, you would have been counting your money at the 100 and ended up being out battled for second. I mean, it was a really disappointing performance on some fronts.
Oh, he was. I think he was $1.50 and looked unbeatable on his 2 previous runs where he got back and ran on. I think he might have been a bit too close. That's what I'm putting it down to. So maybe they might ride him just off the pace a little bit from gate 6 midfield. California Voce, the 2, he's got a chance. Hoss got a chance. All the horses you said. Cassock. Noble Win, he's not the worst. He ran well the other day, Noble Win. And from gate 2, he'll definitely race closer.
And Bonza Perla in a new stable now.
Yeah, of course, David Hayes brought across Bonza Perla from Australia, from Victoria, and now with Pierre Rungen, and has gone round in a trial. And I thought the trial was all right for this mare, so she might go okay as well. I just don't know if she has early speed, but she's down in class, and we've been talking about the Derby form, which is another one that is finding her way down in grade. But yeah, definitely top pick for me in that race. Obviously, will be Hoss. I think he's the one to beat. Might be some value in the Quinellas.
Okay.
There's another one, Storm Legend. He's in with 112 pounds from gate 3. He'll race midfield. Won well last start, but it was a wet track. He's not the worst. There's quite a few that can place in that race just looking at this, Clint.
Yeah. Is there anyone that you haven't named? What about Season's Bliss? It's the only one you haven't.
Put a pen through it.
It's got the ability, but its last couple of runs haven't been good. It'll be back wide. No, I can't have him.
Okay, race 10, the Class 3 over 1,400 metres.
Gee, this is a tough race. I think there's a lot of chances in this event as well. And in terms of the leading chances in it, I thought Happy Daily was right at the top of the sort of pecking order. His last run for Karis Teat was really good. He launched late, some of the better sections late in the race. Of course, we've got Not Usual Star who beat Silver Sonic here, but Not Usual Star on this occasion got a very soft lead. I don't see that eventuating here, Shane, and that's going to be more of an issue for him. So he is a horse racing in good form, but I thought he'd find it a little bit tougher. I thought this was a really open way to finish the day. Now, we heard from Zac Purton. I was thinking with Seizing the Moment, who I've got in the market again. I know he did win on a wet track, but Shane, Seizing the Moment was also the first time he'd ever run over 1,400. Has he always been looking for the 1,400? It's a very interesting thing for him. I know he runs well on wet tracks, but the way he's been competing throughout his Hong Kong career, 1,000 on 1,200 metres, up to 14 last start, bang, an impressive winner. What do you think?
I'm not too sure, Clint. He's got to go from 123 pounds, I think he had, to 134, so it's a bit of a jump. This is a very open race. I'm with you. Anything could win this. Even the toppy A Power, his form was really good, and then he bled last start. He's had 2 runs, I think, in China. He's trialled all right. He's not the worst, but I haven't got my finger on the pulse on this race yet, looking at this. I've got to put a bit of work into this race. Hyper Dragon Ball was disappointing last start, but there's a lot of these horses like that were disappointing. But you know what? They're all on wet tracks, weren't they?
They were, and that's what's made it, I think, a little tricky later in the season. But yeah, for the record, I think I'd be giving Seizing the Moment another chance, the benefit of the doubt. I think solid impacts in the game for Brenton Avdullah. Hopefully he can get the monkey off the back soon. And outside of that, I think E-Legend, and he's in the game as well. He might go forward and go forward and Happy Daily. Yeah. But those are sort of the 4 principal chances.
Golden Arty was going well, Clint, but he struck that wet track and did nothing last start. Now, if you forget his last run, like you do Hyper Dragon Ball, those 2 horses would be first and second favourite here. But they went around on a very wet track last start and both went no good. So was it the wet track, or have they come to the end of the season?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So maybe some multis and exotics you might want to play. Have you got a standout throughout the day?
What I really like through the day is Youthful Deal, actually. It's on the dirt track. And what I like about Youthful Deal, rising in grade on the all-weather track, he repeated his figure for me on my ratings from the sort of wet slow onto a normal dirt track last start. He now sort of gets a little bit more weight relief up in grade. But, gee, the form around him, you've got Gummy, Superb Capitalist have both won out of that. So that's race 8, number 12. I thought he was one of the better bets of the day. I know we had Zac on early in the show, and if you listen to him, you'd probably think he's got some place chances. He's got better than place chances, I can assure you.
He was putting cold water all over them, wasn't he?
He doesn't like to talk them up. Baby Crystal's one of his better rides, I thought. Now, he did mention, and this is for the Cornellas, and there'll be some market support, Greenwich. So this is race 4. It's number 1, Baby Crystal. I like him on a win line. But Greenwich, number 5, trialled, of course, with the impressive winner from Vincent Ho recently that was well-backed. Yes. And that's the trial that Dream Winner, I should say, was his name. So he's a Q horse in that race. And there's another one in the event where I'll be having something small to win on. A horse by the call of Sweet Briar, number 9. The debut run was a lot better than it looks behind Brilliant Life. Then he struck a wet track. He will go at a nice price because all the support will be around Baby Crystal and Greenwich. And watch out for a good run from race 4, number 9, Sweet Briar. He'll run a big race at a nice price.
Oh, God, you've given us a few there. And, of course, hutchieshonkers.com for the full analysis of the day. Sounds like we're keen to play. What are you thinking, Golden?
I'm just looking what I said, Sweet Briar, because I'd done that race. I've got him marked here, Clint. I think the computer teams will find him. I was going to say Youthful Deal, and that's on my 2 sons' life, but Clint once again got it.
No, that's okay. So you can have the same.
You can say that. That's called doubling
Clint,
down.
You know what they say, eh, Clint? Good minds think alike.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be in the same conversation as you, Shane.
I was honestly going to say Youthful Deal. Geez, I don't like the last race. Beauty Eternal should be winning, Clint.
Yeah, I like it.
What else? Geez, I don't know. I haven't finished. I'll go Youthful Deal with Clint. And nothing there. I think that's a Quinella Baby Crystal with Greenish.
Magnificent. Okay, also, hey, make sure everyone realises that now that it's starting to hot up, we move towards that twilight. So 6 p.m, I think, in Australian time for the first.
It'll be perfect for you, Shane, because you like to sort of do your best work around that time of the evening.
Right.
So I suppose the twilight will suit you just right.
Well, on a Sunday now, I don't have to watch it on my computer. I can put the TV on because in Australia it'll be on racing.com live at 6 o'clock, whereas before at 4 I had to put it on. You didn't get the races. You got bloody Melbourne races. So that's good.
Hey, Shane, once again, I know you're going to thank him, but for myself, thanks very much for everything you've done through the season. Your analysis has been first class, and we love your passion for Hong Kong racing, and hopefully we'll see you again next season.
Thanks, boys, for inviting me on, but I've got one wish in the off-season.
Here we go.
Do you want to know what it is?
Yeah. What is it?
Richo, come back and surprise me at the very first show with some hair. Grow some hair.
Mate, I can't believe he's getting hair. Well, you've got such a beautiful face like this, mate. You don't need hair. And this is an area that I don't know if I'd be throwing too many rocks if I was you.
Oh, no, I'm getting thin. Don't worry about it.
Yours is marching back, my friend, I can assure you.
Oh, it is. But, mate, I still haven't stepped into, what is it? Yeah.
Don't ever do that, mate. You got to embrace it. And I reiterate everything you just said.
I'll just go with the flow. What happens, happens.
Yeah, exactly. Golden Boy is such a key part of our show, and so are you, Hutch.
Thank you too.
And for the team behind the scenes, they don't want to be named, but they are quintessential, unbelievable supporters of, and they are the DNA of the show. And also the 7 network that has got behind it as well through 7 Plus. Thank you so much for what you do, and also everyone over in Hong Kong, and especially the Whirlpool for supporting us as well. There's a lot to look forward to for next season, and you couldn't possibly get me out of this seat. No chance whatsoever.
Can't wait already, but all the best the rest of the season. We've still got 13 meetings to go, and go Zac.
Yeah, go Zac. See if you can get that record. Check out Hutchie's selections on Sunday. Hutchie's Honkers. Thanks for watching.